Hello my fellow Guardians, my name is Nuttuck and I like doing challenge runs in Destiny 2. Recently, I've taken on the challenge of clearing some of Destiny 2's dungeons without using weapons. These have been some of the most fun and satisfying runs I've completed in the game, not only being able to decimate everything just using my abilities, but also having to strategically play every moment to stay alive and clear encounters. And while I continue to bash my head in trying to complete the Ghosts of the Deep dungeon, I wanted to give the 15% of you legends watching that are subscribed a true challenge to behold. So if you also want to be a legend when you watch this video, hit that subscribe button. Now, when you think about immersion in video games, most of you probably think about the environment, the characters, and all the other things that bring you into the world and captivate your imagination, right? What I bet most of you probably don't think about is your HUD. Look at all this shit on the screen. You think a real Guardian is going to be seeing all of this as they erase a battalion of Hive? No! And this got me thinking, how hard would it actually be to play without all of the HUD information? Think about it. You have your health, your ammo and abilities, buffs and debuffs, and enemy health all gone as soon as you turn off your HUD. But this is exactly the limited information a real Guardian would have. They wouldn't know when a buff is about to expire or if an ability is fully charged or not. They would just feel it. They would feel it in their bones. So for this challenge, we're going to be taking on the Shattered Throne dungeon with no weapons and no HUD. What this means is that in addition to all of my no weapon challenge rules, I will also have to pay attention to the audio and the visual cues around my Guardian to stay alive and know what I have available in my toolkit. So with the challenge set and the rules firmly established, we descend again into the Shattered Throne. Now as we load in, we're greeted with this little warning at the bottom from Bungie. It seems they're a little concerned by what I'm attempting to do here, but I pressed on with confidence. We traverse the Ascendant Plane until we reach the first encounter, the Labyrinth. This section has you fight enemies next to a symbol, and after defeating all of them, another symbol will appear telling you where to go next, doing this 8 times in total. All in all, this is a really easy section of the dungeon to complete, even without guns or a HUD. Combination Blow makes really short work of everything here, and even if you lose it for a moment, it's not hard to get it back. After defeating this taken captain and his lackeys real quick, I'm granted passage to the next area. There's a huge drop here to some enemies that I take out with ease, and then some stairs that lead up to another taken captain guarding a door. On the other side, there's some large gaps to cross and some taken phalanx meant to knock you off. Staying invisible with the help of Assassin's Cal is really helpful here, as you can avoid any threat in this room. The next area has a catwalk over an abyss with some taken ogres and blights meant to knock you off. Are you starting to notice a pattern here? Anyway, Speed Booster makes this really easy to do, and you can essentially just run past everything in here. Jumping across to the other side, we get slowed down entering this room, and there are Shadow Thrall that try to swarm us. Again, we just stay invisible with Assassin's Cal and walk over to the other side. Now the last section before the first boss is a giant stairway with a bunch of taken phalanx blocking the door. Normally this would be intimidating, but we can avoid the whole thing by being invisible and just running past them. After running inside and descending a bit further, we reach the first boss, a taken ogre named Vorgeth, the Boundless Hunger. Vorgeth is not a very hard boss to defeat. Basically, there are 4 wizards that appear around the arena, and defeating each one drops a little blue orb that gives you a buff with a timer. Now, we can't see that timer, but if it ever reaches 0, I wipe. Once you defeat all 4 wizards and take their orbs, you need to deposit it into one of 4 baskets around the arena. Doing so drops Vorgeth's shield, and you can do damage to him for a short time. Now, since I can't see how much health Vorgeth has, I'm not gonna know how much progress I've made. Luckily, this isn't the first time I've had to do a no weapon challenge in this dungeon, so I remember it taking roughly 3 damage phases with Gathering Storm and Pulse Grenades. So that's exactly what I did. After taking down Vorgeth, a door in the back of the room opens up and we're able to continue on. As we leave the arena, this statue had some words for me.
My strength is with you, hero.
Shortly after, there's another big drop onto some floating rocks and a lift that's lightly guarded by some wizards. This next section is what I refer to as the climb. Basically, there are a bunch of lifts that will take you up to the final tower, and they're all guarded by Taken. Again, this isn't that big of an issue for us since we have Assassin's Cal and we're able to calmly run past most enemies. Just before the final boss, there's a stairway with another round of Shadow Thrall and a few sets of Taken Phalanx on a catwalk over the abyss. After defeating these last 2 Taken Phalanx here, it was at this moment where I thought, holy shit, I might do this on my first try. That feeling was immediately crushed when my hunter tried to sneak around this wall sticking out and failed to mantle back onto the ledge. He's been punching so many enemies for so long that his poor little arms got tired. So with this first death out of the way, I reset the checkpoint and loaded back in. My second attempt was a lot like my first. I swept through the labyrinth encounter at a breakneck speed, dispatched Vorgeth again, and made my way back to the Shadow Thrall stairway. And after dying to this wall the first time, I decided to take it really slow and wait for the blast before moving forward. This worked to perfection as I was able to make it all the way across, take care of this Taken Hobgoblin real quick, and take the lift to the final boss, Dol Inkaru, the Eternal Return. This boss works kinda like Vorgeth with a few slight changes. The first being that the 4 wizards have been replaced by 3 massive Hive Knights, and you need to kill them to drop the buff. The other important change being that you need to cleanse yourself of the buff when you're done doing damage to the boss, but also before the timer runs out too. Again, we won't be able to see the buff timer, so we'll have to be careful with the cleansing. Although for this particular attempt, it doesn't really matter that much because I got absolutely crushed by these knights. They knew I wasn't taking them seriously enough and decided to shatter my hopes while they shattered my bones. But I wasn't deterred. I knew that I could do this if I just got some damage on the boss. After a few more attempts, I made it back to Dol Inkaru and started the encounter. I started by clearing the Taken Scions that spawn around the 3 knights, trying to get my abilities charged up. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the 3 knights down before they became immune, so I had to destroy this crystal to do more damage to them. Even still, I was only able to get 2 of them down before the other one squashed me like a little bug. At this point, I had yet to put any significant damage into the boss. So after a few more attempts and climbing back to Dol Inkaru's tower, I decided to change up my mods, specifically adding Concussive Dampener. This was to help reduce the blast damage when the knights would slam their blades down near me. Now I also decided to use my Gathering Storm on the knights, thinking that I'd be able to quickly grab a rebuff to combination blow and start punching Dol Inkaru. However, she does a lot of damage when you're up close just punching her like this, so it's not the most ideal. Still, I was able to get a few good punches in, so I thought maybe I'll be able to make it up in future phases. In the damage report, I actually saw that those few punches actually managed to do a decent amount of damage to her overall health. And with that, it sparked a fire in me. I made my way down the labyrinth encounter where I dispatched each section of enemies and opened the way forward. I sped across the catwalk with ease, leaving the Taken Ogres in my dust. I slowly meandered my way through the Thrallway and made my way up to the Phalanx stairs to Vorgeth, where I sent 10,000 volts through his screaming corpse. And after that, I began the epic climb back to Dol Inkaru as I mentally prepare for the battle to come. And as I gently fall from the final lifts up to the tower, I begin to rain thunder. That's right, despite all that effort, a single Taken Scion decided to end my run with a little bitch slap of reality. After looking at the damage report, I saw that I put about 3.7 million damage into the boss. For context, this is just a little over half of what I need to actually defeat the boss. And at this point, I was all in. I was able to get good damage on the boss, and I knew if I was able to keep my focus, play a little safer, I could beat it. I could beat this boss. If I could just attune with my hunter senses, I knew I could do it.
fucking way, we did it. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit.
When it was all said and done, I took a second to appreciate what I was able to achieve here. I was able to expertly wield the light and conquer an entire dungeon in the most immersive experience possible. And with this achievement, it further brings me and my guardian closer to becoming truly legend in Destiny 2. I want to thank all of you for watching and taking this journey with me. This challenge was a lot of fun and quite a bit more difficult than I thought it might be. Despite that, I think there's one other dungeon this could be achieved on, and it's the Prophecy dungeon. It doesn't have too many mechanics that are instant deaths, and it's an older dungeon like the Shattered Throne, meaning it's a little easier to do challenge runs on. So if you like this video and you want me to try out this challenge in the Prophecy dungeon, be sure to like this video and subscribe to know when my other videos come out. Thanks again everybody so much for watching, and I'll see you in the bog.